What's an unfun fact? There are at least 8 nuclear weapons known to be missing. Edit, just woke up to this. Thank you for the awards. And thank you for wishing me a happy Kate Day. How the hell do you lose a nuke? Well, a lot of them were put on boats and subs. Then the subs boats sink and the nukes are still down there. Active. Piper Perry, the girl on the couch with 5 black guys behind her meme, came home from a shoot one night to find that her boyfriend had shaken her toddler to death. When preparing a body for an open casket, the mortician will sew the person's jaw shut to keep their mouth from flopping open, and place special contact lenses on the eyes lined with hooks, both to keep the eyelid from snapping open due to shrinking tissues, and to give the eye a bit more natural bulge, as the eye tends to sink into the socket after death. My father is a mortician who now works for a university, but during his time as a funeral director, he embalmed some brothers who were in a terrible accident. This was a few years ago when I was in high school. They had been run over by a car, exposing their skulls. The family wanted an open casket, so my dad had to make them look as presentable as he could. He said that he had to fill the skulls with something hard because, yeah, he managed to make them look good and the family was happy. It's an art. A lot of it involves makeup and craftsmanship to make someone look like they're sleeping, so as not to freak out the family. It's definitely not a profession for the faint of heart. As a nurse, I've encountered many stillborn babies that I had to get creative to make them presentable for the parents to see, hold, and give a heartfelt goodbye. One time my nurse co-worker came to me distraught because she just attended a section for a term stillbirth in which the physician had a difficult time delivering. The baby's head was essentially crushed from delivery and brain matter was spilling out. It was a bad scene and my co-worker needed help making the baby look presentable for the parents. I just did what had to be done using tape and rolled cotton pontoons to get the baby's face to look normal. I swaddled the little babe as best I could and cautioned the nurse not to let the parents unswaddle the baby. They had the most precious time saying goodbye to their baby. Someone took pictures and they turned out beautiful. I was so sick to my stomach knowing that I had just pieced their baby back together but stood alongside smiling with the family about how beautiful he was. This is the PTSD she'd nurses go through. I never talked it out, just went home and was grumpy with my family and sucked down a bottle of wine. Whenever anyone asks what I do and I tell them that I am a labor and delivery nurse, I just hear back about how lucky I am to work in such a great area. They have no idea. Thanks for letting me share. I lost a baby early in my 3rd trimester and had to deliver. The doctor warned of some physical issues such as swelling of the face. I didn't want to see the baby at first. I was young and terrified that I wouldn't be able to handle seeing him disfigured, especially since I figured it was all my fault somehow at the time. Later found out he had Downs. The nurse brought him to me swaddled a few minutes later and promised he was fine and didn't want me to have regrets down the road. I held him and am so glad I did and am forever grateful for her. She took pics, gave us a small box of mementos, footprints and the such. It all helped tremendously in the grieving process in the days ahead. And my children now can see a picture of their brother. I'm so grateful that you were able to overcome your fears and spend the time with your baby after he was born. I can't imagine anyone preparing themselves for what it is really like to birth a quiet baby who has passed. It is so normal for a family to fear the moment and want to turn away, but I have never encountered a mother or family that has ever regretted the time they had with their baby after birth. It takes tremendous strength and love to move past the fear and hold and love on your baby. My heart goes out to you. Suicide bombers are a lot easier to identify post-mortem than you'd expect. This is because the blast from the suicide belt hits the base of the head in such a way that the head pops off like a cork. Investigators therefore have a relatively intact head to ID at it. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. In response to speculation in the comments, I'd like to say that I am not a veteran, a forensics expert, or a gore-site editor, and I have not witnessed this in person, although I have seen a couple of photos. I'm just a true crime guy who looked into the forensics after the St. Petersburg and Manchester bombings in 2017. My original source was a quote by journalist Joby Warwick. That brain-eating amoebas exist at all, and is also pretty commonly found in freshwater ponds and lakes. Apparently only 4 people have survived getting it in the last 50 years. Tapeworms can grow up to 32 feet inside of you and they eat half of what you eat. People used to consume them on purpose to lose weight, yet it was not expecting so many worm comments. Female ducks get raped so frequently that they have a second decoy vagina that they can offer to intruders so they don't get pregnant by the duck they don't want to get pregnant by. There is a whale called 52 Blue that only sings at that frequency, meaning it can't communicate with other whales. It is nicknamed the lowliest whale on the planet. People who handle cockroaches develop allergies to them. This usually prevents them from drinking pre-ground coffee because of the cockroaches that get grounded in with the large batches. This is a viscerally unfun fact. Only 1 in every 1,000 sea turtles born ever make it to adulthood. To add to this, saving baby turtles at the beach does less, almost nothing, for conservation compared to protecting adult turtles in the ocean. Another turtle didn't make it to the water, sad face. You have a higher chance of dying on the way to get a lottery ticket than actually winning. Which game are we talking, though? The numbers game, Megabucks, Powerball. Scuba divers can experience a sudden change in pressure when swimming near pipes and will get sucked inside, doesn't matter the size of the hole. It's called delta P. Worst part. Someone else usually has to go inside the pipe to remove the body. The video of the crab being sucked into the tiny crack in the pipe comes to mind when I read this. Whales don't die of old age. Eventually they just don't have the strength to resurface and slowly drown. Maybe if they didn't ejaculate 40 gallons at a time they could live longer. Why live another day if it's not spent ejaculating 40 gallons of semen? The female tarantula hawk wasp stings a tarantula between the legs, paralyzes it, then drags the prey to a specially prepared burrow, where a singleek is laid on the spider's abdomen, and the entrance is covered. Sex of the larvae is determined by fertilization. Fertilized eggs produce females, while unfertilized eggs produce males. When the wasp larva hatches, it creates a small hole in the spider's abdomen, then enters and feeds voraciously, avoiding vital organs for as long as possible to keep the spider alive. After several weeks, the larva pupates. Finally, the wasp becomes an adult and emerges from the spider's abdomen to continue the life cycle. With a name like tarantula hawk wasp, of course it has to do something as badass and brutal as this. Deep-sea octopus babies take 5+ years to hatch, while mama octopus never leaves the nest to feed and dies when the babies hatch. She doesn't eat for 5+ years. Edit, oh my, this really blew up. Many of you pointed out the source already. It is from Radiolab Octomom episode. I highly recommend. At least she has her mate's detached penis to play with. 1. I see you've also been reading a lot of these too. Maybe if she ate it instead of playing with it, she wouldn't have to go 5 years without eating SMH. Anyone can have a brain aneurysm at any age, no matter your health situation. In 2014, the CDC once found a smallpox sample that they had lost and didn't even know it. It was just laying around in some random storeroom. NPR.org. This week in Storage Wars. Fatal familial insomnia exists. It's a rare, incurable prionic brain disease that progressively destroys your brain's ability to sleep. Eventually you stop sleeping altogether, go insane, have seizures, and die. Prions are scary. No cure treatment, and mostly deadly. But they are rare at least. If they became somehow common like a rhinovirus, humans would almost be wiped out. Don't give 2020 any more ideas. Cockroaches stab their mates with their barbed insect ticks and come on a lady cockroach wound. You forgot the part where male cockroaches don't know if who they are stabbing is male or female, so they're really just coming in random roaches and hoping for the best. Shit, men, ain't we all? And that's the story of how I met your mother. A single female tiger killed 436 people in India. She is known as the Champawag tiger. Wikipedia. That fact's not as fun as your profile. You live up to your name and I will never get tired of it. I don't know what I expected and I'm not sure what to do now or how to feel.